How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Jerome Powell just got finished speaking, and he sent the market down pretty drastically. You can see that at the beginning, when we heard from the Fed what they were doing in terms of fiscal policy, Bitcoin went up to about 39,000. Since then, it fell all the way down and fell under 37. So we had that happen at the same time that a lot of the traditional market fell drastically too. We had the NASDAQ plus 3%. Now it's right about zero. And overall, it turned out to be not a great meeting from the Fed, hearing what they had to say. Now, I want to cover it. And to be clear, I'm a little bit tongue-in-cheek saying that the Fed crashed crypto, because honestly, crypto's already crashed when you consider a 20% drawdown. We're at almost 50%. And I want to talk to you about what they said, what this means, and then also some other news in the market. So I'm going to cover a decent amount. There's going to be some altcoin news and some other stuff coming towards the end of the video, but I want to cover the Fed obviously first. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I really do appreciate that. Hit the bell notification so you know right when I post a video. There is a link down there too to FTX. So FTX is a great platform that I'm using here in 2022 because they have some of the lowest fees out there in terms of buying and selling cryptocurrencies, which is going to make a huge difference by the time that you actually want to sell a lot of your cryptocurrencies. Or if you're someone that's doing that a decent amount, it can save you a lot of money. Also, when you start using it, you can get a chance at a free crypto every time you trade $10 or more. So it is pretty fun too, because you can get some nice free cryptos. And you can get into NFTs too without having to pay any of those insane gas fees. They recently sent me some merch, and I am definitely using them a lot more this year. I'm going to cover a little bit of news on them towards the end of the video too. But let's get into what the Fed said. So first of all, the Fed kept rates untouched. This is what we thought would happen. We didn't think that they were going to already raise rates. We really think that's coming in the March meeting. They also talked about how they have not completed the taper. So this is the assets held by the Fed. You can see that recently it increased a lot. It just increases every month, and they are still planning on buying more assets over the next 2 months, and then tapering by early March. From there, they plan on raising rates, and then they'll start offloading their balance sheet. Now, one thing that came in that was pretty negative from Jerome Powell was that he said that the PCE inflation that they're seeing right now is worse than what they saw last month. So that's not good. We're already at record high inflation, and a lot of people were hoping that inflation would start turning down, but it sounds like it's coming up a couple tenths of a percent for this coming month. Now, the other thing that he said was he thinks that we can raise rates a good amount without affecting the labor markets. He also didn't rule out the fact that we could get a 0.5% rate increase in March. Besides that, he didn't really talk about too much. I think he dodged a decent amount of the questions, but overall, the market did not like this. They didn't like the uncertainty. Of course, it is nice that we didn't raise rates. It's nice that we're still tapering and that we didn't finish tapering, but we really wanted a little bit more clarity on maybe not raising by 0.5%, and then also they didn't want to hear that information that we can raise rates without hurting the labor market. We also did not want to hear that PCE inflation was worse. That just means that there's more likelihood of more rate hikes. Now, moving away from that a little bit, something that would have been interesting was the fact that the Bitcoin funding rate grinded negative off Monday's lows, similar to the grind off the lows over the summer. Will Clemente says, something bulls want to see continue. FOMC could be a potential catalyst depending on Powell's tone, could be a huge short squeeze. Now, we did see the market grind up. I'm sure that we saw a good amount of short liquidations when we went up to 39,000, but we came right back down. We're below where we were before the meeting. And this is something that I talked about in my video earlier today, that I was not going out and trying to buy a lot of cryptos and stocks right before the meeting, because it's really the toss of a coin whether we go up or down after the meeting. And the fact is, we had gone up a lot since yesterday and the day before and the day before that. So I'm not trying to buy when there's a lot of grain in the market. I'm waiting for juicy numbers like we got just a few days ago, some juicy deals in the market with Bitcoin around 33,000. Now there is some good news. So Turkey president reportedly instructs the ruling party to explore cryptocurrencies. This came right after I made my video this morning that said that when in that video I talked about how Max Kaiser said that he knew the next country that was going to make Bitcoin legal tender. And there are really only a couple options there. I think Turkey is one, and then also Tonga is one. Both of those countries are looking at cryptocurrencies pretty deeply. We also got some interesting news too, that Russia said that they have some advantages in Bitcoin mining. So it's interesting all this coming out because I think there's going to be a lot of countries that get into this. It's just a question of how and in what time span they're looking at. So whether it's mining, whether it's making it legal tender, whether it's something else, a lot of countries will have to get in, and then their rival countries will have to get in. Like if Russia starts mining Bitcoin, US will probably have to start mining Bitcoin even more. Now, some bullish news over from Polygon. YouTube head of gaming Ryan Wyatt to resign and join Polygon Studios as CEO. He said, "I will be focusing on growing the developer ecosystem through investment, marketing, and developer support, and bridging the gap between 2.0 and 3.0. I'll be leading the Polygon Studios organization across gaming, entertainment, fashion, news, sports, and more." It's awesome. I think whenever we see someone that has done a lot in traditional finance or traditional business moving over to crypto, I think that is a very good sign because he has accomplished a lot. Just being able to get to the head of YouTube, one of the head positions in YouTube, is a huge accomplishment, and then bring his expertise over to crypto, I think is great. Now, I do want to point out the fact that yes, we are falling down in price, but you have to realize that this was always something that could happen after the Fed meeting, and this does not change the fundamentals. We still have more money flowing into crypto. I cover this a lot because I think it is important. FTX US valued at $8 billion as first fundraise draws SoftBank and Temasek. So we see FTX, not FTX US, but FTX raised money, a decent amount, and they raised some recently. I think it was $420 million. Now FTX US is raising about $400 million. Now I think this is pretty big because of the fact that this just shows, hey, these large companies are still trying to get, or these large investment firms are still trying to get more money into crypto in some of the picks and shovels plays. And they're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars, even though all this stuff is happening with the Fed. They are not worried for the long term because they realize that this is the industry they want to be in. So I think it is pretty bullish news that we still see more companies, investment firms investing into crypto. So again, there is that link to FTX underneath the video if you want to get in on that. I think that that is a great place to start trading some cryptocurrencies, and it's nice too, even if you have somewhere else that you trade, just because of the fact that sometimes when there's a lot of volatility, some of these platforms go down. Now, we do have some big earnings coming up for some of the top companies. For example, Tesla announces earnings after the bell today. It'll be interesting to see if they did anything with their Bitcoin, they bought more, sold anything, stuff like that. And we have some other big tech earnings coming up here soon, so we'll probably hear more about the metaverse. But let me know your thoughts on all this information underneath the video. I'll definitely bring out whatever information I can about those topics and whatever happens in crypto as quickly as possible. So hit subscribe and the bell notification, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.